Hi everyone, my name is Vanvekyuu and today I'm gonna be yapping about my work trip. And before I start, I just want to apologize for the extreme inactivity on this channel. This project ended up consuming most of my time even after work hours and lasted close to 2 months. It was an interesting experience, but I gotta admit it was super tiring. Hopefully through this, I'll know what to prepare in the future in case I got another work trip that could take longer. Also, I decided to draw the whole video out, cause my VTuber avatar won't be able to express the expressions I want to capture. So yeah, I admit I haven't been working on it as in the VTuber model for a long time, but I'm trying to see if I could use my annual leave to focus on creating my VTuber character. And last thing, I'll be streaming soon, but I'm not sure when, so look out for any updates. So recently I've been on a work trip where I got work outside my home country. Though I know it won't be as glamorous as business trips I see in movies, I admit I was excited about it. After all, it was my first work trip. That was one of the two things I'm excited about. First, the fact that I'm on a work trip. Second is the drive there. It'll take almost 9 hours to drive up to the area the work was at, which is a totally different experience from driving in my home country, where getting from one end of the country to the other can take just 30 to 40 minutes. Also, since we are gonna be on the highway, we're gonna be driving at even higher speeds than back in my home country. So, part of this project was done in my home country where we prepared a program for some new machines while the other part is done in the neighboring country. And I think the last of it will be back in my home country where they'll install it, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah. Also, one thing funny about this work trip is that I went for a holiday there 2 months ago with my friends. Like, imagine you went on a vacay somewhere and 2 months later you're back for work. I don't know, it just sounds funny to me, lol. Also, me and my friends went to the island part of the area while my work is on the mainland. But honestly, still funny to me. Okay, so my comfortable speed driving around daily was like around 70 kilometers per hour, or like 43-ish miles an hour. Like most of the time on the expressway, my grip on the steering wheel would be so tight that my mom beside me would have to keep reminding me to loosen my grip, or it would be harder to turn the steering wheel. Steering wheel. Yeah. My maximum on the expressway back home would have been around 100 kilometers per hour, or 62-ish miles an hour. Driving at the speed on the highway going up would probably have me taking a whole day to reach my destination. So we hit the roads at 4 a.m. and made our way up. It was me, my boss slash dad, and my mom slash HR. So yeah, me and my boss slash dad drove in shifts and I would load up my car playlist. I had a thumb drive with songs that I downloaded and separated them into 4 folders: Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and personal. So here are my playlists. My Chinese playlist mainly consists of Chinese drama OSTs that I liked. Some dramas I have watched, some I have not. A small portion of them are songs from perhaps albums or singles that I probably heard at a karaoke with friends or a shop that was playing it, and I went, oh, that sounds nice, and I used Google to help me find the song. And so that's my Chinese playlist. My Japanese playlist is mostly Hatsune Miku songs, a handful of anime OSTs, and like 3 songs from YOASOBI. Most of the Hatsune Miku songs are like from before COVID period, I guess. I used to listen to a lot of Vocaloid back in secondary school. Next is my Korean playlist, which is a bunch of different songs from different K-pop groups that I find catchy and like. Most of the songs are probably from Twice, mainly girl group songs if I remember. And lastly is my personal playlist. The songs are mostly in English and are a mix of really different songs. Some of my favorites from the playlist are Jealous in My Dreams by Josie Man, Undefeatable from the Sonic OST, It's Been So Long by The Living Tombstone, and the remix of the COVID-19 vaccination advertisement from my home country. So, hope you guys like my playlist. And I listen to the songs that I like, and I prefer playing one song I like on loop than listen to an album, I guess. Also, these songs were like stuff I downloaded at least 2 or 3 years ago, and these used to be in one single folder, and I separated them just a few hours before the journey, which is why you'll see some Korean or Japanese songs still in my personal playlist. My parents are fond of Chinese drama OSTs, so I'll normally put on the Chinese playlist while my boss/dad drives. And when it comes to my turn to drive, I'll just let the songs run, which could sometimes lead to very bad timings. There were several times when my boss/dad is figuring out the route with my mom, and it'll be like Ghost Rule playing in the background. And I'll just go like, hey, do you like want to change the playlist or something? And they'll click the next song button and Hibana Deco 27 plays, and I'll just keep my mouth shut. My parents don't exactly appreciate high-pitched sounds. They are lovely senior citizens, and I understand the high pitch could affect their ears. So I'll normally play it while they are sleeping and I'm driving. So, as a first timer trying to drive over the 100 km per hour mark, or the 62-ish miles per hour mark, all I know is press accelerator and car go faster. So I'll be pressing it for 2 hours straight trying to reach and maintain speed. It was a bit nerve-wracking seeing everything come at you at Mach bleep. Like, I could imagine how strong the impact of a potential crash would be if I lose focus. I could feel the blood in my body rush to my brain, to my eyes as I poured all my focus into my surroundings, occasionally glancing at the speedometer to see if I increased my speed. I also noticed my boss/dad activate the cruise button, so I just pressed it, but I'm not sure why it does. It did give me like a brain adjustment, like, oh, I'm in the cruise mode now, which means that I'll be super fast for the next hour or so. And I was locked in for the second half of the first quarter of the journey, and the speed made me feel like I'm in Mario. The speed made me feel like I'm in Sonic Racing Crossworlds. We decided to try out a dim sum place that my cousin recommended that was along the way. So as we turn out of the highway, here comes my next challenge, the small roads. So where this dim sum restaurant is, we had to drive through some pretty narrow roads. Now, we were driving a pretty big car, an SUV that can seat 8, I guess, and I was driving. So if you're perhaps a resident living near the restaurant, you could hear me screaming, like, or something, while I wiggle my way through the little roads. Thankfully, I didn't hit anything, and the car was fine, no scratches and stuff. The only thing I got stuck at was the parking, as it was in this small alley where it could barely fit 2 cars side by side, and the lots are literally on the side of this alley. I just turned to my boss/dad and went, please help me park the car. And he did. So that was most of the journey getting to the destination. So what did I do there? I still remember the first day I walked into this jungle of metal and met with the machines we were working with. As I lifted my head to look, I swear I heard my neck cracked. The thing was so tall, taller than the ones I usually work with. Who made this? I asked myself. For whom are these made for? I reached out my hand to touch the screen, standing on my tippy toes. I can barely touch the casing on top. All of a sudden, I felt small, that all my hopes and dreams are out of reach. We had around 30 of these bad boys to load them up with the program and test that the program and the hardware can communicate with each other properly. The first day is usually not that bad. No, it's actually the worst, because why is the hardware configuration not loading properly? Baby's first downloads. So there are several really important steps when you first load up your program. Not in order, but here they are. For PLC, make sure the catalog information matches on your portal and your physical PLC. If you're changing the IP address of the PLC, you can do it on the TIA portal. I'm using version 20, by the way. After plugging in your internet cable, go to the accessible device under Online Access and check your PLC. Stop the CPU, then go to Functions and Ethernet addresses. Input your desired IP address and subnet mask. Then go to your PLC program and download the hardware configuration. For some reason, there were some machines where I had to do this twice because during the hardware configuration download, it will cut and paste my IP address into the router address. I haven't exactly searched out why it will do that. Anyways, for HMI, you should check that your panel image version matches on the TIA portal and the physical HMI. This schematic HMI that I'm using shows the version on the startup center, and for now, that's the only way I can know the version number. Yeah. You can change the IP address on the HMI itself or through the TIA portal during the same steps as the PLC. But instead of downloading the hardware configuration, you'll download the HMI program. Also, normally I'll download the PLC hardware configuration first, then the PLC software, and lastly the HMI software. Oh yeah, and before downloading the HMI software, remember to check the date and time of your HMI. Make sure it matches the TIA portal, which should most likely be the current date and time. I remember spending hours trying to figure out why I'm unable to download the HMI program until one of the guys there told me about the date time thing. Imagine wondering and trying to figure out for hours and end up, is the date time? There could be other things to take note, and also depending on what versions. If you have suggestions and tips, you can comment them down too. I would like to learn from you guys. So back to the present, or the past, cause it already happened. We were aiming to stay for 5 days, drive back over the weekend, and maybe fly back to see how things are going. But no, we ended up extending another 9 days, literally shaking and crying. But understandable on the client side, they want to make sure things are okay before moving on. We plan to download the program just one of each type of machine and test it so that after it's okay, we can just download the finalized program to the rest. If only it could be that way, because the amount of times I had to update every single machine because there was a change that was overlooked. Honestly, it was an experience, a very experiencing experience that I almost had fun. I remember there was a problem that I was trying to solve for the smaller machines. Oh my gosh, yes, there were smaller machines, but they were laid on their back. So I will be greeting every one of them as I download the program into each and every one of them. Also, they were laid pretty close to each other, which leaves me close to no space to sit down or bend my legs. So yeah, my back still hurts as I'm recording this. Ergonomic risk! Anyway, the smaller machines. Oh, there was a small adjustment that was made in the programming, but it didn't show up in the HMI after countless download changes and on and offing the PLC until I decided to finally do a full compile and full download to the HMI after 2 hours. It works now. I haven't changed anything. Yeah. So yeah, I spend my days pushing my neck and my back to my limits. And my brain. On our last day there, we were determined to make it our last day. So we stayed at the place till 4 a.m., configuring and testing all the machines that we were tasked with. And so came the next morning, and I woke up at 10 a.m. ready to go back. I was excited because I miss home, and could also be because it was recently National Day, and being in another country over National Day feels really sad to me. It was only this time when my boss/dad told me about the cruise control function, and I had fun shaking my legs while I stayed at a steady 120 kilometers per hour, or 74 miles per hour, on the highway. I also find myself looking at the view more. The mountains and hills were really a sight to see. I decided to drive more this time, as my boss/dad was super tired from the really late night a few hours ago. My mom would talk about different topics as we got closer to home. She also searched for different places to maybe stop or take a break, perhaps a cafe or something, but we decided that the rest stop should be sufficient. She found a rest stop online that had a bunch of cafes and shops that is a half an hour away, and we decided to stop there. I could use a nice coffee. I didn't get my coffee. There were cafes, and there were shops that have fruits and snacks out on display, different varieties, and they looked well grown, most likely local. And they were closed. They wouldn't sell to anybody until the clock hits 4. It was 30 minutes to 4. I gotta admit, I was a bit annoyed, but it could be a rule or something. There were people everywhere sitting down, most likely waiting for the clock to strike 4, so that they can buy stuff. I saw one guy taking out a cup of cut melons from the fridge, but after talking to the shopkeeper, he placed them back in the fridge. It was really interesting. We decided to just head out. This rest stop had a lot of cars parked here. It's probably one of the more prominent rest stops in the area. We got to another big rest stop to refuel. It was quite a big place and I got some iced coffee from a donut place there. The last leg of the drive. It was past 6 p.m. already, and I saw the day transition to night as everywhere around me turned dark. I did start to panic a little because there weren't any street lamps, and I'll be driving in the dark really fast. All I could think about was crashing, but locking in helped me put that thought aside and let me focus on my surroundings as I speed up to 140 kilometers an hour, or 86 miles an hour. I wanted to get home fast. Lights flashed where there were cars, and I steadily followed them. If they turned towards the right, I followed. When they turned left, I turned left too. I also tried keeping a distance between me and the car in front of me, and filtered to the slower lane when the car behind me flashes their high beam. At some point, the momentum of the fast lane started to ease into me, and I felt more calm. We stopped by at some sort of hidden rest stop my mom found online, and we had dinner there. At that point, we were 45 minutes away from home. I remember feeling lightheaded as the blood slowly spread away from my head. The place was almost deserted. The stalls displayed different menus, but payment was all at one cashier. We had some sweet and sour fish and rice. It tasted nice. Maybe we'll go back there next time. We reached home around 10 or 11 p.m. I can't remember. But oh my gosh, it was so nice to be home. But since we came home on a weekday, that means there's work tomorrow. So that was my work trip. My first ever work trip. I'm not sure if I want to go on another one, but it's a fun learning experience. Now, I just hope to get back into working on my channel alongside my normal job. Literally shaking and crying as I am now writing the script after clocking off at 9 p.m. And also update, I flew back like a few days after writing this script. And I also came back. It was like a weekend job. A weekend fly back, do the job and fly back. Fly there, fly back. Yeah, so oh my gosh. Add an extra 3 days to this work trip. But yeah, it's nice to be home with the project now 80% off my hands, and I'm excited to stream soon on YouTube. I'll put out an announcement like a week before. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I haven't really rested since flying back. Yeah, not exactly a good feeling, but it's a very interesting experience. And also, after this video, I probably won't be posting for a long while, as I doubt I'll have time to do animations and other content. But fret not, I'll do my best to stick to the streaming schedule that I put out. Yeah, and hopefully next year will be a more positively eventful year on this channel. I hope you guys missed me while I was gone, and I shall see you next Moonlight. This has been Vanvekyuu Lately.